Hi, everybody. Welcome to Colleen C to Serendipity. My special guest, Courtney. How's everybody doing tonight? It's a little warm here. It's getting ready to rain. Kind of had a hectic, busy day. Well, I kind of slept in this morning, and then I had to work for a couple hours, and then I came home and had something to eat, and then I had to go back and pick up Courtney, and I asked her to join me in my live. So
I had to work today.
Working girls, working today.
Always, every day, bringing the doughs.
Hi, CC. Thanks for coming in my live. So, what's everybody up to tonight? We're listening to Elvis in the background. You probably can't hear him, but we'll turn him up here in a little bit. Why is that like that? My plan for tomorrow is to go see my nephew near St. Louis. Tomorrow's his birthday, so my mom's coming to Cool Gamer. Hi, Cool Gamer. How you doing? Thanks for coming in.
Hi, gamer.
What's going on, Cool Gamer? Yeah, my plans for tomorrow is to go see my nephew. His 34th birthday is tomorrow. So he's got a major surgery coming up. So I want to go see him before he has that and just give him my blessings and prayers, and we'll go from there.
I'm sorry if I get distracted, you guys. I like Elvis. I like music in general, but Elvis in the background making me excited. So,
Hi, Melanie. How you doing?
oh, hi, Melanie.
So, what's your plans for tomorrow, Courtney?
At work.
She has to work. Everybody, this is my oldest daughter, Courtney. If nobody knew, you should know if you watch my videos anytime. So,
yeah, I pop in occasionally. The little blonde, curly-headed boy that everybody loves, he's mine.
Yeah.
I made that. Oh, Melanie, I'm sorry you had a rough couple weeks. I'm sorry.
Sorry to hear that, Melody.
You don't have to tell us that. I'm sorry.
Is it raining?
I thought I heard it, but maybe not. It was just
We had some thunder and here earlier. Yeah, I think it's raining now. It got really dark outside.
Oh, I see the drops.
Yeah, it's raining now. It was supposed to. So.
Ooh, it is.
Yeah, it's raining pretty good here now.
I'm a CNA. If anybody doesn't know, I work with Alzheimer's residents, and we had an awesome day today watching the new Elvis movie, which I got all my residents to watch it. Made me super excited. And we listened to Elvis during breakfast and lunch, and so I'm having an Elvis day. So I'm super in this right now.
Yeah, my mom came over the other day and we watched the new Elvis movie. I didn't care for it. It's like from the Colonel Tom Parker's point of view, and he just treated Elvis like a circus act.
Which is why I like the movie, because you got to see not
Yeah.
the glitzy glamour.
But I only saw like an hour and a half of it, so
She didn't finish it.
I gotta sit and finish it someday. So oh my gosh.
Oh, Melody.
We'll say prayers for you and your family. That's terrible. I had a cousin back in February get murdered, and she was mentally and mentally disabled, and she was at a home, and it was only like 35 miles from us, and we didn't even know where she was at. If we would have known, we would have visited her. Well, we'll say prayers for you that you'll get your transportation down there, and hopefully you'll get to attend the funeral. But yeah, we found out that my cousin was murdered by a worker at the home where she was staying. She was in like a DD home. They call it developmentally disabled, and they have different homes, and the worker had been charged with these things before, and I don't know. My cousin, he was being abusive to another gal, and knowing my cousin, she jumped in there and said, "Leave my friend alone," and he started beating her or whatever. So it's going to be tied up in legal stuff for a long time. But my other cousin is her sister.
Her brother. Oh,
Well, yeah, her sister's kind of keeping us update on everything, the court dates and everything, and I think it's going to be a long, drawn-out battle. It should be cut and dry, but I don't know, it's bad. So prayers for you, Melody, and it's tough, and especially with my cousin, because she's, mentally handicapped. Who does that to a mentally handicapped person? And he's done it in other homes. Why'd they let him? I don't know. All right, enough about that. Enough doom and gloom. We won't talk about that. Is it coming up already?
Here, we want to talk.
Towels over there. Sorry, my front door, it's leaking. Hi, Destiny. How are you? We just got a downpour of rain on further Courtney. Unless the girls used it. And water comes in my trailer front door every time. It's coming in already. So, there was, I'm doing good, Destiny. Get in here, Courtney. My daughter, she was in here earlier. She loves Elvis. I love Elvis. My mom made me an Elvis fan. And
my mom made me an Elvis fan.
So we're going to keep that generation going. She was dancing to Elvis. I don't know if you can hear him in the background. We got him playing on my TV. So good to see you, Destiny. How's your weather down there? Ours is rainy. It's been kind of overcast. Yeah, it was hot, humid, but clouds rolling in, and oh, thank you.
Aww, you're my favorite.
Destiny's a sweet, sweet lady. You should subscribe to her on YouTube, Courtney.
I will do it right now.
If everybody in the chat, you're not connected, please go to each other's channels and connect. That's how we build our. Oh, okay. She's. How do you pronounce that? We're in Central Illinois.
I don't think so.
Okay, Melanie. I know a lot of people likes him, a lot don't. I don't know. My mom grew up in that era when he was big and everything, and um, so I don't know. She just was always a fan, and I just kind of became a fan, and my cousin's a fan, and I don't know. Like in the '70s, they had like baseball cards, but they were in bubble gum. Elvis, and they had like a whole set of them. And so my cousin, they, her mom and dad owned a restaurant, so they got the cards, and she collected all of them for me. So I had them in an album one time, and so can I can I tell them your news?
What news? Oh, do you want me to tell
Yeah,
them?
you can.
So, if some of you didn't know, I'm engaged to a wonderful man. I love him. He's amazing. There's my pretty rings if you can.
Closer.
If anybody was interested. My top one, the big one, is Grand Duchess Anastasia Romanov's crown. I'm a history buff. And my bottom one is just a cute little ring that I liked and we both like. So anyway, so we've been planning our wedding and we've kind of been at a loss because we're cheap. I don't want to say it like that is a bad thing, but
They're frugal.
we're frugal. Yeah, we're frugal. So every place close that we liked, or it was expensive. It's
The
2,000,
venue for the wedding.
2,000 plus. I wanted a nature wedding, and we didn't want to have a traditional ceremony. We wanted to do a hand fasting, and if you know what that is, it's Scottish, and they tie our hands together. And so we wanted to do it out in nature, like in the forest somewhere. But even places that we liked were expensive, and like even if we did it at a state park, we needed a reception area, and everything that we looked at that we liked was 2,000 plus, and nothing was in our price range. But I got curious because I haven't been to Graceland. I want to take my mom to Graceland. I was gonna do a bachelorette party to Nashville, Tennessee, and then we were gonna hop over to Memphis and do Graceland and stuff. So I got curious and I was looking online for ticket prices and like see if I could get a group rate or something. And I happened to see weddings, and I was like, why would you want to get married out in front of a mansion? Like, I mean, it's pretty, but so I looked at it, and there's a chapel. There's a chapel in the woods on the Graceland property on the whole Elvis extravaganza. And to get married there on a Friday evening, which is when my wedding is for next year, is $1,000. And that includes the wedding venue. You get 15-minute pictures in the mansion, Graceland Mansion, and you get bride and groom suites to get married, and they have officiants on site. And it was just like a way better, I mean, other than the travel cost, it's a way better deal than what we could find up here. And I wasn't joking, I was serious, but I told my fiance, Zach, I was like, can we get married in Graceland? I was like, that would make me happy. He's like, this is going to sound bad, but he's like, I don't really care. He was like, if it'll make you happy, let's do it. And I was like, are you serious? He's like, sure, $1,000, let's do it. So we're going to get married in Graceland. Yay! So I'm excited. It's going to shrink our wedding party down because I know there's going to be some people who won't travel, but it's going to be memorable and it's going to make us both happy. And he's not an Elvis fan. His mom is an Elvis fan too. So I know he appreciates that like I do, but we're going to get married in Graceland.
Hi, Gamer Bro. Welcome in.
Hi, Gamer Bro. So yeah, I'm getting married in Graceland. My big Elvis dream is going to come true. So it makes me happy.
So yeah, we're excited about that. She called me last night squealing, and I'm like, "What? She goes, Mom. I go, "What?" And she told me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I said, "I guess I have to start putting money back for travel expenses to go to Memphis." I mean, it's not that far from us. It would be within. I mean, it would be a nice drive, because what is it?
It's like a 6-hour drive, I think, from here. It's a drive, but it's a doable drive, so. Oh, thank you.
Oh, 5 hours and 44 minutes. That wouldn't be a bad drive.
It's doable.
I wish we had the money where we could charter a bus, get like so many. I don't know how many people fits on a charter bus, but just,
Well, the wedding venue only holds 100, but we weren't going to have a big wedding in regards anyway.
but
He's
still, a bus wouldn't hold 100 people.
No, we'll be lucky if 50 people show up, which is it's
So-
fine by us. We have a small group of friends, and we only wanted close family. We had already agreed that we only wanted family that would celebrate us, which sounds bad because you would hope your entire family would, but we have people who wouldn't. So we only wanted people who would celebrate and want to be there. So, she used to have a bunch. We've lost some along the way, but I remember my junior high bedroom. I had an Elvis cardboard cut out, and it was the worst Elvis. Like, he looked surprised. He was holding his guitar, and it was terrifying. I used to, like, if I didn't remember what I was doing or something, I'd flip the light on, and there's just a man with a guitar. Like, it would terrify me, but I loved it. And she had bust and cart posters, so many albums. We had CDs everywhere. And I've started to collect vinyl again. And while I was on vacation in Wisconsin, if you saw that video, I found an antique store that had a bunch of vinyl. I could have spent the rest of my vacation in that store alone. But I found his How Great Thou Art album original. Oh, made me cry because my grandma, my dad's mom, used to play that. And she did too. But I remember my grandma Mary singing, and so it was nostalgia. It made me so happy to find that. And even when I came home, got into my apartment, that was the first thing I did was get my vinyl out of my suitcase so that I could play it. It just made my heart happy. Vinyl makes my heart happy in general, but I love old music anyway. I like Elvis and stuff, so she does too. But oh, that's awesome.
My I had a boyfriend way back, ex-boyfriend, and his mom is a huge Elvis fan, and we've stayed friends for the year. Me and that boyfriend broke up, and we've stayed friends for the years. We correspond back and forth, and I remember when we broke up, she goes, just because you and him had problems doesn't mean we can't still be friends. So we've written each other. She used to send my girls birthday cards. Well, she sent them birthday cards till they turned 18, but we still keep in touch. And
she still sends me birthday cards.
yeah.
And she used to send money and birthday cards until we turned 18, but we still get birthday cards.
And when she comes in town to visit her son, she usually says, hey, we're in town. We're at this person's house. Come and have lunch for us. Or one time they had a big family gathering out at a local hotel, and my ex-boyfriend and his brothers, and he said, oh, come out here. And I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, no, come on. And I'm like, okay.
That was right after I had Henry. I wanted her to meet Henry. It was right after he was born.
So we went out there and we hobnobbed with his family, and it was like a reunion because I was real close to his family. I mean, I was almost married to this guy, and they just like all of us. Courtney and Henry went out there. I don't know if the other girl, Clarissa, all my girls went, and they just.
Hey, Jolene. Sorry.
Hey, Jolene, how you doing? So yeah, they just welcomed us with open arms, and I'm like, you know what? Ex-boyfriend's family still does that. But anyway, it's a super nice family. So his mom, I'll just say her name, Kendra. She has a bunch of Elvis decanters with alcohol in them because her and her first husband had a bar. Oh, well, they ran a resort in Wisconsin, and so she ordered those, and she had, I don't know how many she had. I know for sure 4. So, hey, Mark, how you doing?
Hi.
So she said, Colleen, do you want these when I die? And I'm like, Kendra. And she goes, none of my boys want. She had all boys. And I'm like, well, yeah. So, but I don't know. I'm not gonna, say, hey, I want those when you die. I'm not gonna say that. But yeah, and I couldn't believe that she was a big Elvis fan. And Courtney, you want to tell the story of her? We went to a friend's benefit. It was her daughter-in-law's benefit. She had breast cancer, and so
Um, we used to have a local Elvis impersonator who was on the heavier side, but he was really good. He had a great voice. But he came to the benefit and performed, and Kenny had a few drinks in her by this time because this was later in the day, and Elvis started singing, and I cannot for the life of me remember what song it is now.
I think it's Can't Help Stop
Can't Help Falling in Love with You.
Falling in
It
Love
might
with
have been
You.
that song. But of course, dear Grandma Kenny was up front singing and swaying, and then Elvis said, "Come up here," and he was singing to her like Elvis used to do. And dear Grandma Kenny got lost in the moment and decided to cry and incoherently sing with him. And I had a good 10-minute long video for the longest time of her incoherently crying and singing with heavy Elvis, and it makes me laugh. And that was the first thing I said too when I told her that I wanted to get married to Graceland. And I was like, we gotta invite Grandma Kenny and Grandpa Merle. And I was like, oh, I hope Grandma Kenny doesn't try to sing with an Elvis impersonator again.
And I went to her daughter-in-law, and I'm like, wow, Kenny's really Kenny, we call her Kenny, is really getting into that Elvis impersonator. She goes, oh, good Lord, she thinks he's real. And I'm like, well, she knows he's dead, right?
Bless her sweet soul. It makes a good joke though. I even laughed at her later on the party that she was talking about that we went to. I was like, good thing Elvis isn't here. It's just a nice little running joke, and she was fully aware that she did it too. And I was like, so you knew you were up there crying to make a fool of yourself.
She was big Elvis fan.
That's always been her. She doesn't care. No. She's never cared what anybody thought about her. She's just been herself. I like to jokingly say I got it from her.
So what everybody have for dinner tonight, or have you had dinner? We haven't had dinner. I kind of had a late lunch. I don't eat. I don't have an eating schedule. It's crazy. With me working at nights, I don't know. I need to get on the schedule and eat better. I haven't been eating very good here lately, but I usually eat like yesterday. I cooked me a big lunch. It was like a dinner. I fried pork chops, and I made corn on the cob, and I had fresh tomatoes, and I had yes, Olivia Newton-John passed away.
I made my residents watch Grease movie when that happened.
So yeah, I had fried pork chops, corn on the cob, tomatoes. I had noodles, Alfredo noodles, and pickled beets. I love pickled beets that my mom made. And it was a big lunch. And one of my friends called, and he goes, who are you cooking that for? And I go, me, myself, and I. I go, isn't that sad? But my other daughters that live with me, Courtney doesn't live with me. She's just visiting tonight. But the other two daughters that live with me, they have different crazy schedules. One works like 35 miles in a different town, and my other one works at our local hospital here. So they weren't home, but I was just really hungry, and I wanted to use those pork chops up, and my corn had been sitting there for a couple days. So I'm like, I better use this up and cook it. So it was really good. And my friend goes, well, you'll have meals for another couple days after cooking all that. And I'm like, yep. Oh, yeah, Selena. Oh, I love Selena. It's hot here, and I'm cooking. And I'm not cooking, thank God. My grandkids are old enough to cook up something for me. That's what I usually do. Jolene, I don't usually cook, but I was really hungry, and like I said, I had those pork chops, and I'm like, I'm just going to cook. And when I cook stuff, my other girls don't eat it, and I tell them, hey, there's leftovers in the fridge. Well, they're not big leftovers. They really don't care for leftovers, except unless it's chili or spaghetti.
My little boy's with his dad right now, so I don't have to cook for anybody, but I guess I have to feed myself. I brought some food home from work. I stayed until I usually work 7 to 3, but I stayed over until 5, and my residents eat at 5, so I just grabbed a plate of what they had and brought it home with me. Perks of working where I work, they feed us because we don't get scheduled breaks. We eat with our residents and stuff, so it's a perk to stay on site and be with our residents all the time. So they feed us usually pretty well. There's some questionable stuff every now and then, but it was good tonight. It was breakfast bake and hash browns.
You should have bought your mom some hash browns. I love potatoes, any kind of potatoes. I always joke with people at where I worked before this job because they would serve leftover hash browns for lunch, and they were good. And I was like, oh my gosh, I said, and the ones working serving the food would know. Here comes Colleen, she's gonna want hash browns. And I said, if my doctor ever said you stop eating potatoes or you'll die, I don't think, no. I probably would, but I love potatoes, any kind of potatoes. I know they're not, it's starchy food, and it turns in, it's a carb, and that also turns into sugar, so. So me and Courtney a couple months ago watched Flaming Star
Yes.
with Elvis. He sang one song in that movie, and it was like right at the beginning around the campfire or something. Or
They were having a birthday party.
oh yeah, and so that was a really good movie.
And
they,
after we watched it the next day, I had Google gave me an article, top 10 Elvis movies, and that was number 1 on it for one that he didn't sing in. And I was like, that was a really good one because he was a lot more serious, and even the ending of it was like, it wasn't the normal Elvis riding into the sunset with the girl. It was kind of sad.
and he always wanted to be a serious actor. He didn't
want to sing.
He didn't want to sing in his movies, and Colonel Tom Parker said that's where the money is.
And he only had 4. I didn't realize this until recently, but he only had 4 top movies. The rest of, like, he had quite a few movies, but there were only 4 that ever, like, turned profit, made real money that weren't flops, I guess.
Well, I know. I mean, I like him because I'm an Elvis fan, and I look back and I'm like, they are so cheesy. And, it was just like, here, put a song in here. And it was like, really? Let him act like he wants to.
Yeah. Well, and at that time, the campy beach movies, yeah. I remember some of those were kind of bad. Like Blue Hawaii was great, though.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
But Clam Bake
was kind of cheesy. That was along the lines of that
Beach Blanket.
Yeah, Beach Blanket movie.
Yep.
What was the other one that was kind of questionable?
It was just the era that it came out in, and
some of that like Hawaii Paradise style and like girls. That was obviously one of those Beach Bunny. Let's just see how many boobs we can put in a movie kind of movie. I haven't seen the movie I didn't like anyway. I'm a movie buff too, if nobody knew that. So classic movies in general. I like movies.
Yeah, we used to watch Cash Cab all the time, and I told Courtney I always wanted to go to New York. Now they had one, excuse me, in Chicago, and we used to watch that program, The Cash Cab, and I said, Courtney, if we ever go to New York, I want to catch the Cash Cab. I'm going to take you, and I have another friend. He knows a lot about movies, music. I had my whole gang. Oh, wow. Yeah, I had my whole crew picked out, and we were going to win all the money.
Oh, Melanie, I don't have DVDs anymore, but I probably have close to 1,000 movies on my digital library. I'm not even kidding. I had a really bad habit for a while that because I have Apple products, so every time Apple used to have sales on, I like older movies anyway, so they would have like the $4.99 sales on some of the older movies, and I got suckered into buying a bunch of older movies. So it seemed like every couple weeks I was buying a few dozen movies. So I'm probably not exaggerating when I say I have close to 1,000 movies in my digital library, and most of them are like 80s to 50s. I have a couple later, like I like Mae West. I like her controversy, so I have some Mae West movies, and I have a couple Chaplin movies. I'm not a huge silent film, but Chaplin gotta respect the talent. So I wish I still had some of my DVD. I used to have. I'm a huge Johnny Depp fan too. I used to have. I'm just about every Johnny Depp movie on DVD. And I used to have so many Disney VHSs.
Well, let's tell them about our brush with Johnny Depp, our brush with a celebrity, 3 celebrities in one weekend.
Yeah. Back in 2010, or was it 2009? 2010, 2009. My memory is fuzzy. I have a heart condition, and I was granted a wish from well, it's nationwide now. The Make-A-Wish Foundation. I was granted a wish through them, and they always do like their top 5 things. And of course, my top one was Johnny Depp because I'm a gigantic Johnny Depp fan. I have been since Crybaby, and I have a whole story about that movie. But anyway, so my top wish was to meet Johnny Depp, and there was a couple other like minor ones, and what would you say, like a year process before my wish got granted, which is short compared to other children. They've been on wait lists for years. So about a year process, and they called Ma and told her that my wish had been granted, and that they would send us more information through the mail. And Mom was like, oh, okay. And they kind of discredited my Johnny Depp and said, like, he doesn't do many appearances, and he's, hard to get a hold of, and, just that's great, but that might not happen. That's why they do the top 5. And I was like, okay, it was kind of a long shot, just something I wanted, And I didn't want to say I felt uncomfortable, but I didn't feel like I should have been granted a wish anyway, because I had I had a chronic condition, but it was relatively minor compared to what I thought wish kids got. I thought it was for terminally ill kids, and I was like, I'm not dying, so I don't think I need one. So I was kind of like, it is what it is. So when they contacted her and said my wish was granted, she thought it was one of my minor wishes. She was like, oh, okay, we're going to do, this, and this. So she wasn't super excited. So I was in high school at the time. So I went to school and...
Bye, Dr. Destiny. Thanks for coming in.
Aww,
love you.
Bye, Dr. Destiny.
Bless you.
Have a good night, hon. Anyway, so I had gone to school that day. Ma stayed home from work, I think.
Mark was an Elvis in the Christmas parade.
Nice. I like. Anyway, I think she had stayed home from work and was waiting because they were going to deliver papers and tickets and stuff. And
yeah, because they called me like on a Wednesday, and they said we're going to have FedEx delivery. So I worked Thursday and I took Friday off because
Friday's when we left. We took Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, I took Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I didn't have to work weekends, but anyway, yeah. So go ahead. They called me on Wednesday and said they would be, expect a delivery, FedEx delivery. So I'm like, oh my gosh.
Because they were going to send us itineraries, like what they think we should pack, and like if I needed anything special.
Tickets.
Yeah, and our tickets and stuff. But yeah, and they were asking like, do I need like oxygen tanks and all that kind of stuff so they can coordinate all that.
Yeah.
So they still hadn't told Ma what we were doing yet. So she's like, okay, it's gonna be whatever my wishes, tickets. But I think I wanted to go see a NASCAR race or something because we were NASCAR fans at the time. So I think that was what she thought. She was like, we're gonna have NASCAR tickets. They're gonna fly us to wherever the next race is. We're thinking something minor, but it's not minor. It wasn't what we thought it was gonna be anyway.
Right.
So she took Thursday off. I went to school because I had I think it was like my state constitution test, something I had to have. So I went to school to take my test, and then I was going to come home. Did I stay a whole day or did I come home a half day?
No, because we initially thought it was like going to be in the afternoon. Like they sent us all the information. Like they FedEx. Like I want to say the FedEx came to our house like at 11 o'clock and said we're leaving at noon. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'd only gone a half day, but I went to take that test. Anyway, so I went to school to take the test, and I still didn't know what I was doing yet. So like everybody's like, why are you leaving early? I'm like, I got my wish, you know. My teachers were excited for me and stuff like that, people that knew, but I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing, and you know.
But I had called the school and told them, I have to pick up Courtney like right away, like at 11.
And she
goes, well, why? And I go, we're going to Hollywood to meet Johnny Depp.
So the little late, because usually my high school was set up that they had office runners, and they were usually other like honor students and stuff that didn't have like a honor study hall that they didn't have to be in, and they used to run messages for people. So I knew she was coming, kind of, sort of, and so I knew I wasn't going to be at school all day that day, regardless. So I knew I had to go and take that test. So usually one of the student runners came and gave you a little slip of paper and said you're leaving at this time, and they would give the teacher one, or they would send it to whatever class you're leaving at. No, the little old lady she wasn't an older lady, but she was older than me, lady, comes running to my classroom, and I think I was like in econ or something at that point, because I remember I was at a computer, which wasn't my history class, but I think I was sitting at a computer, had my headphones on and everything, and I remember, because the way the computers were set up, you could see the whiteboard for the class, and I remember she comes busting in, and she went and talked to the teacher, and the teacher stood up and looked at me, and I was like, what? And she's like, so I'm like, oh no, I thought something happened. So I'm like, oh no, what happened? What happened? I thought it was my sisters or something, you know, because I have little sisters. And I go up to the desk. I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, you need to go to your locker. You need to get all your stuff. She's like, I would call your teachers and get your work, but you don't have time for that. You're leaving in like 15 minutes. And I was like, oh, that's really quick. Like usually they gave you like an hour in advance so you could kind of get your teachers to give you stuff. And I remember the little secretary was so excited. She's like, your mom just called and you're going to Hollywood. You're going to meet Johnny Depp. And books, pencils, everything, I dropped it and I started screaming. And she's like, stop, this is class. She's like, go to your locker, get your things, go. And I'm like picking up my stuff. And this little secretary didn't leave my side. She's like, let's go get your stuff. Your mom's going to be here any minute. They were all so excited for me, and it still hadn't like clicked in my head. I'm just like, Johnny Depp, I'm going to Hollywood, and I'm at my locker, and then my mom picked me up. She started crying. She's like, we're gonna go meet Johnny Depp, and that's when it hit me, and I was like, I'm gonna get my wish, and I just started crying, and we went home and packed, and then they came and got us. So
in a big long stretch
limousine, and we live in a relatively little town, and we were on like a little side road, and this stretch limousine pulled up next to our house, and I had left before lunch period that time, so we were hungry.
I didn't have lunch.
And we asked the limo driver to take us to a McDonald's. He's like, sure, if I can make it through the drive-thru. So we made it through. We got McDonald's like movie stars. And they took us to the airport, and we got on our plane and stuff. But it was an ordeal. It was great, though. That was a great surprise, because I didn't know until we were basically in the limo what I was doing. So that was fun.
And that was right before Alice in Wonderland premiered. And they gave us a tour of Disney Studios out there. Okay, we arrived in LA on Friday night, like late
Thursday night. Friday
was Friday.
Friday night. Saturday.
Yeah.
No, because we came home Sunday.
No, we did all that stuff.
Oh yeah, we
came home Monday because we went to Disneyland
Sunday. Yeah, I forgot. Okay, yeah, so we got in there like really late Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night. So we just kind of chilled out in the hotel. They rented and this Make-A-Wish is great. If
any of you ever wanted to donate to a charity that you know your money's going to go for something good, I know there's other ones, but Make-A-Wish, I know they say about the CEOs and stuff, but that we get our wishes and they lavish us. They give us everything we want and more, and they
gave us a $500.
Oh God, it was more than that.
No. Anyway,
we had an expense card to pay for all of our meals, souvenirs when we ended up going to Disney.
They rented a car for us. We landed at LAX. We had to go get the rented car, and I can't remember, was it Hertz or
something? We had to take a shuttle from the airport to Hertz, get our car, then we had to drive.
Hey, Ariel, how you doing?
Hi, Ariel.
This is my daughter, Courtney.
Hi.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm going to be driving in LA.
Yeah.
I mean, I come from a small town. I mean, I was born and raised in small town. Like the town I was raised in, like 300 people. And then we moved to the town I live in now, and it's like 1,300.
15
Yeah,
at that.
15 at the most. So, a couple stoplights here and there. I mean, I've driven in bigger cities, but I'm like, I'm going to be driving in LA.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking.
So, but we had.
They gave us really good directions, and the
Yeah.
Hertz lady, we told her where we were going and where we had to stay.
GPS on the.
No.
Okay.
They had like MapQuest. This is back in the good old MapQuest
Yeah.
days. They had MapQuest us our directions to our hotel, so we knew where we were going. And the Hertz lady, I remember it was late at night. We're the only ones there. She was a sweetheart. We told her, because we're all excited. We're still on Johnny Depp adrenaline.
Right.
So we told the lady, we're like, we're renting a car, we're Make-A-Wish, we're gonna meet Johnny Depp. And this lady, I mean, I could tell she wasn't a fan, but she was like, that's amazing. Oh my gosh, where are you guys staying at? Okay, here. And she gave us like precise directions and like even you. Like don't pull off on, because we had to go on Santa Monica Boulevard. And she's like, don't pull off at Santa Monica because you'll be out of the way. Santa Monica Boulevard, that's where you have to turn at.
So I said, okay, because I was messed up. And she goes, no, you go out here. And she went over the directions for us again. I'm like,
that Hertz lady. I cannot remember her name, but I can picture her face now if I ever see her again.
Yeah. And
she's amazing.
So we basically drove straight to the hotel, and we get there, and it's the Ritz-Carlton.
Regis Hyatt Seed in downtown Los Angeles. Like I could look out of our hotel room window and see the Hollywood sign. We were in West Hollywood.
Yes. So we pull up, and this what is it? The valet parking guy, he goes, "Can I take your car?" And I'm like, "Sure." And we didn't see the car the whole weekend until Sunday.
When we went to Disney.
Anyway, we were kind of tired, jet lag and everything from the flight. Oh,
and we had to be up early the next morning for our itinerary for the Johnny Depp day, because we knew we weren't just going to meet Johnny Depp. There was going to be we knew we were going to go. They said Disney Studios. We knew that, and there was something else we were going to do. We were going to have breakfast. We had breakfast. No, we had breakfast in our room. Lunch. We knew we were going to have Disney Studios. There was going to be a lunch involved, and then we were going to meet Johnny Depp. That's what our itinerary said, because they gave us we had packets in our hotel when we got there about Make-A-Wish, and we had T-shirts, and we had little baskets for Make-A-Wish. They were, like I said before, if you guys ever want to donate money to a place that you know it's going to go, they lavish the Make-A-Wish kids, and they might pay their salaries, but they give us wish money, and they do amazing things with it. Not just for me. When I get into the rest of my wish, I'll tell you guys. But anyway.
Only thing I regret about the trip is that I didn't take my younger daughters, because she was 16, 15 at the time. 16. So my youngest daughter was 6, and my middle daughter was 8.
Yeah.
But
we didn't know what we were going to be doing. Like I said, our only itinerary was we were going to tour Disney Studios. We were going to meet Johnny Depp and have lunch. And we didn't, that's all we knew. And my picture is thinking, he's going to be sitting at a table, we're going to walk in, he's going to say hi, he's going to sign something, and we leave. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was like a meet, like
a meet and greet, but a mass meet and greet. Because I knew it wasn't just going to be one-on-one. That's the other thing. My wish wasn't a one-on-one wish. There were 12 other girls in the room with one little boy. There were 11 girls and one little boy. So I knew it wasn't going to just be me. And so I thought it was going to be a massive, Comic-Con meet and greet where you walk up, you sign something, you take a picture, shake hand, and leave. So I wasn't expecting it to be as absolutely amazing as it was. So we didn't take my sisters. And I regret that now, because there were so many other spectacular things that I wish I could have shared with them.
And when we were going into LA, it was Courtney's first time flying. And she was doing really good. And then all of a sudden I go, Courtney, is it raining? And she goes, no, we would see it because we're right by the wing and the engine. And I go, I think it's raining. And then all of a sudden it felt like the plane was going like this. And I'm like, it's raining. And I was sitting in the middle, because we had one guy on this. We had 3 seats.
She gave me the window seat. Yeah. She sat in the middle, and there was a man on the outer.
He slept the whole time, because we flew from Chicago O'Hare straight to
6-hour flight.
Yeah, 6 hours straight to LA. So turbulence, but like I said, it felt like the plane. And I was a seasoned flyer. I had flown several times before, and I was like, had a death grip on the seat in
And
front
I had
of,
a death grip on her.
yeah, in front of us, and I'm like, we're gonna be all right. God didn't bring us this far. We're not. It's not my destiny to die in an airplane. So so we get into LA and we land, and the pilot comes on and he goes, "Hey, we want to thank our co-pilot da 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 for getting us safely landing us at LAX." And he goes, that's what we call a slam dunk. What was it?
Slam dunk landing.
Slam dunk landing." And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So that was thank you, Melanie. That was a very traumatic first time flying for her. And then I just want to jump forward to Monday when we were leaving. That was a whole other fiasco. Monday we'll tell you about later. But when we were leaving, I didn't realize like LAX is like, I mean, it's right on the coast, and they fly over the ocean. And that also, Friday night when we were flying, the mountains and everything out there, we don't think about that because we're from the Midwest and we're flatlanders. And the wind and everything, the mountains and everything, we had to, yeah. And anyway,
yeah.
When we were flying out Monday, she goes, "Why are we still flying over the ocean?" Well, the big planes, you can't go and then go that way. They have to make a great big circle.
Yeah, I remember watching it. And I was like, "Oh, there's the beach, there's the ocean," and like we kept going, and I'm like, "Why are we still flying over the ocean? I can't see the beach anymore. Why are we still in the ocean?" I was like, "Mom, why are we still looking at the ocean?" And she was like, "It's fine, it's fine."
It just they have to go way out and then go.
That's a fear of mine too, of like getting on the wrong plane and going somewhere you're not supposed to. And I was like, I don't want to end up in China. We don't have passports.
Speaking of that, when I was 18, my brother moved from Texas to the state of Washington. So I helped his wife, 2 kids, and a dog and a cat, drive from Texas all the way across New Mexico, Arizona, the full length of California up to the state of Washington. So I was out there for like a week, and then I had to fly back to where my dad was in Texas. First time on a plane all by myself, 18 years old. I had and my brother goes, "I don't think they do this anymore," but he said, "If you have trouble, there's guys and gals in red jackets. Go up to them, ask them, where we're going. So, yeah. So that was my experience of first flight, all by myself, not knowing anything about airports. I started out in Seattle, Washington, and that's a big airport. And then we went to Denver, and that's pretty good size, to Dallas. Dallas is like one of the biggest airports. And at Dallas, you had to get on these little trams or little electric cars or whatever and go to your terminal. And I'm like, and then we go, ding, you're at Delta Terminal, ding, I'm like, I just missed my terminal. But luckily, by the grace of God, I got on the right one. And I had like an hour and a half or 2 hour layover in Dallas. And it's like, oh my gosh. So anyway, our Johnny Depp story.
Sorry, I don't remember where. Okay, so we're at the hotel. Make-A-Wish left us an adorable little package. Bless them. So this is probably like 11 midnight. We had to be up early to meet our group in the hotel to go do our itinerary.
We wanted breakfast too.
Yeah, but I mean, we had to. It was like we didn't get in till nearly midnight their time, and they're 5 hours behind us.
No,
ahead of us.
2. They're not 5 hours. They're only 2.
Oh yeah, 2. I'm sorry. I'm thinking somewhere. Anyway, so this is like 11 midnight, so it's probably like 2 a.m. here. So we're exhausted. We had to be up by like 9 a.m., which doesn't sound terrible, but we got in at 2 a.m. basically. It was exhausting.
Yeah, they're 2 hours behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were tired anyway. So we get there, we get in our hotel room, cute little basket, unpack.
Hey, keeping up with the Griffins.
Hi, Griffins.
Thanks for coming in.
No, I forgot what this. Anyway, we're at the hotel, probably showered, bed, straight away. I think we might have read over our itinerary because they gave us another little pack of stuff in our room, which was a little bit more detailed about what we're going to do the next day, but it wasn't really detailed.
Please, everybody in the chat, connect with each other. If you haven't connected with with anybody here in the chat, please connect with them. They're keeping up with the Griffins. They're an awesome family. They do awesome challenges and everything. Our day was good. It was busy. We had to work. And I only had to work 2 hours, and she had to work 8.
Yeah.
But we're doing good. We're just relaxing. We're talking about our trip to LA like 10, 11, 12 years ago. Seems like yesterday. But anyway, go ahead.
So yeah, we're in the hotel. We probably showered, went to bed, maybe went over the packet, which was a little more detailed, but still, we're still only thinking, meeting our group. We knew we were going to sightsee at that point, that they were going to take us around to see like the Hollywood sign and some other stuff.
Well, they really didn't tell us anything. They said, meet us in the lobby like at, I want to say 9 o'clock or whatever.
But they did give us an itinerary that was a little more detailed. Like, we knew we were going to sightsee.
Right.
We knew we were going to have like a meet and greet with the other girls, because I knew there was going to be other people in our group. So we were going to meet them and do like a little greet everybody. We were going to sightsee, and we still knew about the Disney Studios lunch, and we were going to meet Johnny Depp. That's the basis of what we knew we were going to do. So we go to bed, get up the next morning.
We get a call at 5:30 in the morning, because my boyfriend at the time, it was 7:30 back here.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he called us, and it was only 5:30. He goes, what are you doing? You got to get up and meet Johnny Depp. And I'm like, it's 5:30 in the morning here. He goes,
and we're both not morning people. So, I mean, she used to work early, and I was a high school student. No, high school student. I don't care who you are. You're not a morning person. So I hear her phone go off, and then I hear her talking. I was like, why am I awake? But like I said, Make-A-Wish set up everything. We were well taken care of. So we got room service, and it's February in Illinois. It snowed when we left. It snowed when we came back. We get up to LA, and it's 75 degrees, sunny. We ordered waffles with berries, and our berries were fresh berries in the middle of February, which I was like, mwah.
Strawberries,
Beautiful.
blueberries.
So we had our little waffles. We did our little breakfast thing. We went down to the lobby to meet our other group, which this is another thing that I was grateful. God has blessed me with relatively good health since then. And I was in okay health when this wish happened. It was kind of like I had done better in my treatments at work. So this was kind of like a end of treatment treat kind of thing for me. And some of the other girls, I'm going to say girls because like I said, there was 11 girls and one little boy. Some of the other girls were way worse off than me, and it just made me a little bit grateful. But I'm going to cry now. I'm sorry. I made absolutely amazing friends that I'm still friends with 12 years later. And they're amazing. They're amazing women now. Most of them are grown. Most of them were about my age. And they were amazing. And just, different walks of life, different issues, different, the one girl that I'm super close with, she had been waiting like 3 or 4 years to meet Johnny Depp, and she's a mega fan. We were all mega fans regardless. But I really clicked with her because we're literally about the same age. I think she's like a year or two older than me. And she was great. But I was friends with everyone there. We all got to talk. I still have numbers. We still have Facebook and stuff. But so yeah, 11 girls, one little boy. We all got to meet, talk, what's your disease, which sounds terrible, but in that chronic illness group, you're kind of like, what disease do you have? What issues do you have? It's like trading cards. You trade off, what do you have? Anyway.
Oh, really? I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
tell me about it.
What do you have? What, and the parents,
kind of an icebreaker.
Yeah, and the parents talk, hospital stays. What do you do? Oh, you do this group. Well, this group helps too when they bring you food, and, So anyway, so we meet everybody. I think it was an hour and a half. We all kind of chit-chatted and talked and got to know each other. Well, then they wanted us to go outside because we were going to get a bus or something. We were going to go sightsee. They said they were going to take us around LA a little bit. We were going to see the Hollywood.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we were going to sightsee.
Yep.
They said we were going to go see like the Grauman Theater and the Hollywood sign. We were going to get close-ish to the Hollywood sign. We said we wouldn't go up there because it was under construction. We couldn't go up. But we were going to get close. We were going to see some other stuff. So we go outside, and there were two two. One of them was a stretch Hummer limo, which was for the Wish kids and our immediate family, because some of the other families had small children that came with and stuff, like brothers, sisters, and stuff. So Hummer was for Wish kids' immediate family. And then they had another stretch limo for extended family, other people in the group. So we get out there and we're all freaking out. Because like I said, we're all teenagers. There was a couple smaller children. So we go outside and we're all freaking out. So we get in and we start driving. And we, like I said, we sight saw. And I can't, honestly, I was hyped up to see Johnny. And once we got in there and they gave us like drinks and stuff, in case, we're in a Hummer limo. We're not going to have alcoholic drinks with our kids, but they're like passing out sodas and stuff. And so we're in the limo and we're all kind of chatting, and we had driven around LA a little bit and we saw some stuff. And then there's a Make-A-Wish representative, obviously there the entire time. There was a couple of them. And she was like, okay, guys, we have a little surprise. We're going to go see Disney Studios. And while we're there, that's where you guys are going to have lunch at. And we're going to get a private viewing of a movie. And they didn't tell us what movie at the time. They just said we were going to get to watch a movie at Disney Studios after we toured. And I'm like, oh, awesome. Watching a movie at Disney Studios? And I was an artsy animated kid, so I knew Disney Studios was like, Snow White was made there. That's where they make like Lilo and Stitch and all the Disney movies. Like I knew that's where they do the animation at. That wasn't like Disney Film Studios, which they do have some filming stuff there, but this was like the animated studios is what we were going to go see. And I was like, oh, awesome, all the animation studios. And, I knew they had the Garden of Handprints and stuff like that. So I was like, yes, I kind of knew what was coming up. So, we get to Disney Studios, we do our little tour, we see the big Walt statue, and we got to see the animation campus, which I can tell you at that point, even if I hadn't met Johnny Depp, that would have been the icing on top of my little artsy heart, because we were on campus, and we got to ride our rides. Then we get into this bigger building, and I knew what it was. It was the screening. I knew the screening room was in there and stuff like that, and I knew that was like the finalizing. That was where you finalized a movie at, in that building. So I got excited because I kind of knew it was coming up. And then they had like a buffet of Disney stuff. So you had the Mickey pretzels and the corn dogs and popcorn buckets. And, they had us set up. Like I said, they took care of us. So we get in there and we're standing there, and somebody from Disney was there. Obviously, they were, there was a Disney representative and there was a Make-A-Wish representatives. And then they told us that the movie that we're going to watch was Alice in Wonderland, the remake, because it hadn't even premiered yet. So we were getting first view as Wish kids of Alice in Wonderland, and Disney Studios in their screening room, like the legendary screening room where Disney executives and animation legends sat and watched final cuts of movies. So that alone, I was like, my entire life is made. Like, and even if I'd never gotten to meet Johnny Depp, my life was made at that moment when we sat in those chairs.
And it was a really small, it was
like a home theater. It's small,
yeah, but it was a movie theater, like maybe, 20, 30 seats at the most. And, the big screen, of course. And it was, that is the best movie I've seen, because we could comment, and when Johnny Depp came on the screen, woo!
Yeah.
And you can't do that in a public theater. So that was really the
neat. Most amazing experience. Like I said, if I had not gotten to meet Johnny Depp, my life was made in that moment anyway, because I knew the significance of that room and where we were. So
and everybody sat there and watched all the credits, because Avril Lavigne,
the Avril Lavigne song,
she made us. There was a song in the movie.
Really good. And the credits alone were fantastic for that movie, with all the animation stuff in the background. Great.
And me and Courtney, anyway, like our local theater was showing some old Christmas movies. I'm like, we're gonna sit here and watch these credits, because she took costuming and stuff in college, so we like to see who did the costumes and the music, and I don't know,
I'm creepy like
movie buffs like that. But go ahead.
So yeah, so we sit through the movie. Fantastic movie. Groundbreaking experience. They ask us if we want, because there's more snacks, and they're like, you guys want more snacks?
There was some chocolate stuff too, wasn't there?
Oh, there was all kinds of stuff. Like I said, it was a Disney smorgasbord of the greatest.
And didn't you guys get a gift bag?
Yeah, we got they had press bags, and we got press bags, which had we had a Mad Hatter hat in it, and we had access to the Alice in Wonderland video game, and music.
The DS game.
Yeah, that was the video game.
Okay.
We got the albums, the Alice in Wonderland, the remake album, and then like the score from the movie album.
Hi, Oreo.
Hi, Oreo. I forgot what it was. Oh, Press Junkie. We got journals and books and pens and like, you know, merch. That was what they gave the press. So that was cool. So we're all excited going through our stuff. And then the Make-A-Wish Disney people are like, we have an announcement to make. They're like, you know, you're going to meet Johnny Depp or whatever, but Johnny Depp and Tim Burton have given you guys a special gift. I'm like, oh my gosh, Johnny Depp and Tim Burton got us a gift. They had purchased tickets for us and our families and whoever were there for us to go to Disneyland. So, you know, we're all freaking out because we're like, Johnny Depp bought us tickets for Disneyland. And, you know, we're so excited. So
I start crying.
I don't remember if I cried or not, but I know I was excited because I was like, I'm going to get to go to Disneyland. So
I was crying because I'm like, dang, I should have brought my other two daughters because they were 6 and 8 at the time. But
it was overwhelming anyway because it was so much more than we expected, which was fantastic because it made the experience better. But it was just so. It was just nice. It was just amazing. That's the only word that I can think of. It was just absolutely amazing in every sense of the word. So we did our movie thing that gave us our announcement. I think we toured a little bit more.
yeah,
And then we got back in and they said, is that when they told us we were going to have a tea party? Yeah.
they said we're going to the hotel now, and
We thought they meant our hotel to meet Johnny. That's what they said. They said we're gonna go to the hotel and meet Johnny. And we thought he was gonna be back at our hotel because we all stayed at the same hotel. So we leave Disney Studios, drive around LA a little bit more. Then we pull up to
we got stuck in traffic with the big long stretch.
yes. Oh, we have to tell the story. So we got there was a little girl from Australia who was there. She's adorable. I lost contact with her family and it hurts my heart. She was so cute, and she had little brothers, and her mom and dad were absolutely
little
amazing.
brother.
No, she had two.
I thought it was just
No, she had two little
Okay.
brothers. She had two little brothers, and her parents, her mom and dad, were amazing
So
human
sweet.
beings. Like I said, it hurts my heart that I lost contact with her because her family was. I mean, all the families were great, but she was one that I really wish I could have heard more because she was so young. But anyway, bless her sweet dad's heart. But you know, there's two limos because there's two groups of us. We couldn't get around this turn, or we were turning somewhere wrong.
it was so no. We were turning, but the limo was so long.
Yeah, he
Like-
turned to.
We were blocking traffic.
And this little girl's dad got out and was like directing traffic to be like, all right, come on, keep coming back.
In the middle of LA.
Yes. Oh, it was so funny. And we had, no offense, but we had a little foreign driver who I think was cursing in whatever native language he was speaking. And me and some of the older girls who knew what was going on were just cackling. We were laughing so hard. I think Candace, the girl that I talked about earlier, I think her mom even was laughing with us, and she was like, "Oh Lord, I think I'm gonna wet myself." They were from South Carolina, so her mom had the greatest accent ever. I love her. But yeah, so we got stuck in traffic, but we drove around LA a little bit more, and then if anybody knows, we pulled up to the Renaissance Hotel, which houses the Rolling Stone magazine in Los Angeles, and I saw the big windows with all the graphics of the Rolling Stones covers, and I was like, "Mom, do you know where we are?" And she's like, "What? What?" And I was like, "We're at Renaissance." And she was like, "What is Renaissance?" I'm like, "Rolling Stones headquarters." And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Rolling Stones headquarters!"
So yeah, we're in the front, and we sit out in the front of this hotel.
For like ever.
Yeah, and
It
then
seemed like.
and then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, are we gonna get out? You
And
know?
there were crowds of people up front. And I'm
Yeah.
like, Los Angeles is crowded, but like, why are there so many people up
And
front of this
then
hotel?
and then it clicked with us. It was press. The people had the things, and you know they had press.
And there were cameras, and there were other
cameras, and-
like people there.
So
too,
when we pull up in this big Hummer in this stretch limo, they're like ready and aimed, trying to take
They're-
pictures.
and like I said, we sat there forever, so they're like looking at us and like trying to
Trying
figure
to-
out if somebody's in there and stuff.
And you couldn't see in the windows, of course, they are tinted. So then we go around,
to
and
like a parking garage, but it's
Yeah.
like underground around the back.
and so we get out, and like you know, you can smell the gas and stuff of the. And it was like we're being ushered in like these stars are. You know, you can't go in the front door because they'll recognize you.
Yeah,
It was like, oh my gosh. So we get in the lobby part, and there's these furry chairs.
oh,
So we're waiting in the
furniture
lobby.
was fantastic.
So we're waiting in the lobby about an hour right?
At least 30 minutes. I
Yeah.
don't think it was quite an hour, but we waited for a while.
So they said, okay, let's get on this like they're scooting us and rushing us around. I mean, not like cattle or anything, but it's like it was just one thing after. I mean, we had some wait time, but so we get in the elevator, we go up to whatever floor this is.
And they heard us all outside of this room with like these giant doors. I'm assuming it's a conference room.
Yeah.
And they don't let us in. They just heard us right there for a minute. And I'm like, just open the doors. Like, what are we waiting for? Because it hasn't clicked that this is where we're going to meet Johnny Depp at. I'm thinking this is like another detour thing.
Yeah.
So the big doors, we're standing there, we're waiting for the Make-A-Wish coordinators, and there's other people we're waiting for, and like all the people to get meet in one place. So we're standing there, and they open these gigantic double doors, and it is an Alice in Wonderland tea party fantasy. They had costumes from the movie. They had tables set up for us. They had a tea party with cakes and tea, and
the backdrop of the cakes and tea,
yeah,
the buffet.
A movie backdrop. The tables were so beautifully covered, the ones that we sat at, and I mean it was a massive room, and I think I started crying at that point because they just opened the doors and that's the first thing we saw, and I just started crying. I was like, oh, it's Alice in Wonderland. And so they tell us to go in and enjoy ourselves and tea and cakes and whatever, and then after everybody kind of settles because we eat a little bit more because we hadn't actually sat down and ate. We just had the snacks at Disney and then the snacks there. And so after we settle down a little bit, the Make-A-Wish coordinators tell us that this is, we're waiting here for Johnny. Johnny Depp's coming here. So, we're all like, after that,
we had to shut off our phones and everything. So we didn't know what time it was. I don't know how long. It seemed like forever we waited in that room.
We really did, because that's where I got to know Candace a little more, because we sat with her mom and her stepdad. And I talked to her most of the time because they kind of split us up, and they told us that Candace, because she'd waited 4 years, was going to meet Johnny first. And then I had waited a year, so I was going next. And then, they kind of broke us off, we're going to go in this order. Mm-hmm. And I'm still thinking it's like a meet and greet. He's going to come in, sign something, take a picture, leave. So I'm like, okay, we're going to do this in order. So we're talking, we're sugar buzzed now. Now that we know Johnny Depp's coming here, we're like, Johnny Depp's coming, and we're all hyped up on cakes. And they
gave her a little index card and said, write 2 questions you want to ask Johnny Depp.
Which they told us they were going to do like a Q&A. Johnny was going to come and answer questions, and then we were going to meet him. So again, still thinking meet and greet, going to come and answer questions. Whatever. So, again, it seems like an eternity. We sat and waited
at least
talked
2 hours.
Yeah.
At least. It might have been 4 hours. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, we had to shut our phones off.
But we didn't know. In the meanwhile, Johnny Depp and somebody else was giving. It was like the press junkets. You go into this room.
The whole cast was there doing press junkets. They were in the hotel the whole time, but they're doing little press things and stuff like that.
You go in this room and
meet
from,
this,
this
this TV company,
JTKA, and
which is funny because we didn't find that out till we came home, and like YouTube and stuff, we were watching stuff about. And
Access Hollywood was there,
and he was in the same outfit that he met us, and I was like, that was the same day he did that Access Hollywood, the same day he met me. We were so excited for months after that when we'd see press junkets. But yeah, anyway, it seemed like an eternity. We sat, we talked, we ate, we sat, we talked, we ate, and the Make-A-Wish people were always like, just a little bit longer, we'll be here in a little bit, just wait a little bit longer, get some more to eat, talk some more, and at that point we had ended up migrating and talking with people, and I'd met everyone at that point, which we did anyway, but as long as we waited, we talked to everyone. And then they finally tell us that Johnny Depp's coming, so we're all excited, we're waiting for him, and again they open the double doors, and this is the stupidest thing, but this is the best thing that I remember, one of the best things I remember. But those movies, the romance movies, were like they open the door and the dude comes in and it's just fuzzy, and she's like, oh,
there's like smoke behind them.
That's exactly how it was. They opened those doors, and the first thing I saw was Johnny Depp, and I was like, oh, Johnny Depp. My little 16-year-old heart.
And standing right next to Johnny Depp was Tim Burton.
Which, again, we go back to my little animating heart. I was just as excited to meet Tim Burton because I was like, that's Tim Burton. And I remember sitting next to Mom, and I was like, Mom, it's Tim Burton. There's Tim Burton here, too.
And then I go, okay, that's Tim Burton, but that isn't Johnny Depp.
Yeah. I didn't click for her. And I'm still in teenage dream with the fuzzies and the hearts and everything. I'm like, it's Johnny Depp.
Well, I remember, smoke behind him, like it's in a Hollywood movie or something. It's like, that wasn't the way it was. But in my mind it was.
It was, but I'm serious. Whenever it was like, what was your first impression? I was like, I seriously had one of those teenage movie moments where it was just like hearts and smoke, and you're like, oh, and he sparkled.
But
like,
it didn't click with me. I'm like, okay, that's Tim Burton. Like, I knew Tim
Wow.
Burton, but it wasn't Johnny Depp. It seemed like he was shorter to me in real life. Like, that's not Johnny Depp. He's like 6'7", but he's not. He's what?
he's a normal human being.
Yeah, he's like 5'7", 5'8", you know. So they said, "Oh, come in, Mr. Burton, Mr. Depp," and so they. Was it then that he walked by you, or when they were?
No, when they went back.
Yeah.
Afterwards, but they we picked an awesome table because
Yeah,
we
we
wanted to
did.
pick one close to where everything was set up at, because we wanted to be able to look at the costumes and everything. And they sat right in front of my table, which was Candace, her mother, her stepdad, Ma, and me. So I'm like, oh god, he's so close. We just sat there and
So
we did our little Johnny Depp, Tim Burton, did our little Q&A. They were really nice.
And they go, and Johnny Depp goes, "Wow, they're asking really good questions." He goes, "These are better questions than the press was asking us."
Yes.
So
I mean, that was a good 20, 30 minutes that they answered everyone's little questions and stuff like that. And Make-A-Wish people were like, well, they introduced us. They were like, this is Candace. She's waited 4 years. This is Courtney. She's waited a year. This is, they kind of went around and introduced me like, well, this is Courtney's mom, and Candace is here with her mother and her stepdad and kind of stuff like that. So they said hi to us like that. And then the Make-A-Wish lady's like, okay, everybody's going to do one-on-ones. Candace is going to go first. We're going to do it over here because, like I said, we're in this massive conference room.
no,
so.
first they started and they were signing stuff on their stools. Remember?
No, because Candace she got up and went straight back. They said that they were going to do it back.
No, but Tim Burton was. I remember him signing stuff on the stools, and they said, let's do it at this table.
I don't remember that. I thought she went straight back. But anyway, so Candace goes to meet him first because that's the. So it was literally behind where we had sat. We were gonna go in the back corner so they could have one-on-one, which I was like, this is awesome. So anyway, so Candace has some stuff for him to sign. They walk back, and Johnny Depp passes me as he walks, and I'm like, ah. He grabs my shoulder, and I tell you, when I squeak like the most impervious mouse ever, I squeaked. Like, this man squeezed my shoulder, and I was like, ah! Like a little girl. And I was so embarrassed. I was like, I just squeaked in front of Johnny Depp. But anyway, so Candace goes back there. And again, this seems like another eternity. And I'm sure it was only 30 minutes that she talked to him, which was amazing in itself. Because like I said, I was full under the impression that it was sign something, take a picture, leave. So Candace is talking.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian. So yeah, it's amazing. She's back talking to Johnny Depp. I'm next.
But you're googling over Tim Burton too.
Yeah. Again, I'm not there, Mom. Shush. So as I'm sitting there waiting, because like I said, it was a good 30 minutes that they got to talk to him. One of the Make-A-Wish ladies, I'm sitting there and I'm watching Candace because I was like, oh, Johnny Depp. And one of the Make-A-Wish liaisons was like, hey, Tim Burton's here. Courtney, while you're waiting, would you like to talk to Tim Burton? And I could have pooped my pants when she said that, because I am an arty person and I love Tim Burton and I love Nightmare Before Christmas and his art and his poetry and everything. So when she said that, I'm like, yes. So wonderful, amazing human being Tim Burton is standing in the corner with a cup of tea like he's not a famous director, artist, anything. He's just standing there dipping his little tea bag in a corner, and nobody's talking to him, which I thought was terrible, because I was like, if I would have known I could have approached him, I would have ran up and kissed his shoes. So the Make-A-Wish liaison is like, Mr. Burton, this is Courtney. She's going to meet Johnny Depp. She wants to meet you as well. And he's like, oh, okay. And he comes over so cool and he's talking to me. And I'm like, oh, I love Nightmare Before Christmas. And I was naming off a bunch of movies. And there were even some movies where he was like, you saw that? And I'm like, yes, I've seen that. And I was like, I love your friendship with Johnny Depp. And the entire time, Make-A-Wish gave us an autograph book so that we could get autographs. And I'm like, will you please sign my autograph book? And he was like, oh, absolutely. And as he's signing it, my mom's like, she loves Nightmare Before Christmas. She's got that little skeleton guy everywhere. She's got all kinds of, he's like, oh, that's awesome. And he's taking my autograph book and he's signing it. And I was like, this is taking a while, for a signature. And he gives it back to me and he drew a little Jack Skellington with his name next to it. And my mom was like, Courtney's an artist, but she doesn't think she's very good. And he's like, they told me that for years that I was a terrible artist and it discouraged me. But he's like, I pushed through, and he's like, now look at me. And I'm like, So he wrote, he did the little Jack. He wrote his name, and he's like, keep drawing in my autograph book.
And he said in high school, one of his teachers said, "You'll never."
His art teacher said he wasn't any good, and he would never
amount to anything. Look at him now; he's like a millionaire,
making movies, animated movies. He's brilliant.
Yeah. So I think Courtney was more excited to meet Tim Burton.
I was excited to meet Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
but, that was something I wasn't expecting, and I idolized Johnny Depp, but as an art person, I idolized Tim Burton. I was like. If anybody knows anything about costuming, Tim Burton loves to work with Colleen Atwood, and I love Colleen Atwood as a costume person now too. I love Colleen Atwood. That was my epitome. That was at the time, because I didn't do costuming stuff yet in high school. I was just doing. I just started to get into painting sets for my high school theater, and I was vice president of my art club. So I wasn't quite into the theater stuff yet, but at that time, that was meeting Colleen Atwood for me. He was my idol, my artistic idol. So I was like, oh. So I'm I'm getting more comfortable because Tim's being cool with me, and then they're like, okay, Courtney, it's your turn to meet Johnny, and I was like, I love you, Tim, bye. So we go meet Johnny Depp, and he was absolutely the most amazing human being. I just I don't even know. I can't even express it. He's just the most he's an amazing human being. He was so sweet and so kind, and I'm sure he probably didn't, but he was genuinely you're in high school. What do you do in high school? What clubs do you do? Do you play music? What music do you listen to? Genuinely wanted to know about my life, and I'm sure he didn't, but he was a damn good actor because he pretended he cared about my 16-year-old life.
And I said, oh, by the way, Johnny, Courtney plays guitar because we knew he played guitar. Mm-hmm. And he goes, oh, well, let me see. And he picked up her hand. He goes, okay, I feel the calluses on your fingertips. And
I could have died in that instant, and I would have lived my entire happy teenage life, because I can tell you that man touched my hand. I'm like, I'm never washing my hands again.
And so we had our little session with John, and it was probably 20, 30 minutes. I mean,
I feel like it was longer. It felt like an eternity again, but in the best eternity.
He signed a couple things of Courtney because they said, oh, let's limit it to, because
and Johnny didn't give any craps about what they said. He was there for us, which made it even more better, because the stuff that they were telling us, he's like, no. He kept signing stuff and kept talking to us, and
so and then
I forgot to mention this before. I am a tote bag carrier. I always have a giant purse. I always have a giant purse. I've had since the dawn of time. So I had a giant Rolling Stones cover, and it was, I don't remember which one it was. He's done a couple of Rolling Stones. It wasn't the one from Pirates of the Caribbean where he's laying down. It was the one where he's standing up. He's got a white shirt on. Anyway. So I had a big tote bag, and it was a Rolling Stones cover. And one of the Make-A-Wish liaisons was like, Courtney, go show Mr. Depp your bag, because I was the only one that had a Johnny Depp bag. And I was like, oh, okay.
And we bought it at Walmart.
Yeah, I think it was a $5 bag at Walmart.
Yeah, it was on sale. I'm like,
but anyway, so I was like, oh yeah. So I run back to our table because Candace was done and she was sitting there with my bag and stuff. And I was like, when I tell you that my 16-year-old teenage brain could not comprehend, I am a woman with woman issues that I had
feminine products.
Yeah, I had feminine products in my purse, like any normal female with a uterine has. And all of a sudden I picked up my bag and my brain went, Johnny Depp can't know I'm a woman. Johnny Depp can't know I have this in my purse. Poop! And I dumped my entire bag out on the table and I threw the box at Candace and I was like, hide these. Nobody could know. And Ma is standing back there with Johnny Depp and this man is laughing at me like, is she emptying out her purse? And she's like, yes. Yes, she is. And then I come running back and I was like, look at my bag. And he's like, oh,
they'll put my image on anything.
Yeah, he was like, they'll put my image on anything. He genuinely confused of why I wanted to carry around this giant Johnny Depp bag. And I was like, will you sign it? And he was like, absolutely. He's like, can I fill in the mustache? And I'm like, don't touch it, it's beautiful. And he's like, okay. Genuinely confused. He was like, I don't understand why people. Yeah, genuinely confused why anyone would idolize him or think he's attractive, which made it all the better. He was so humanly, if that makes any sense. He was amazing. So that ended my little time with him. He visited the other people in our group.
Oh, you gotta tell him about the little girl from Australia, the last one.
I wanted to tell about Hannah. Maybe more humane. There were a couple of girls there, but there was one that had like multiple sclerosis and something else, and she was very badly crippled in a wheelchair. And we all got our picture taken with Johnny Depp, and she didn't want to be in her wheelchair because she couldn't bring. I guess she had a nicer wheelchair, and she couldn't bring it because it was motorized, and she couldn't bring it to LA. So she was in like a aluminum. It was a nice one. I think it was like hot pink or lime green or something, which I was like, that is the coolest wheelchair I've ever seen. But she didn't want to be pictured in her wheelchair, so her dad was going to hold her up. And Johnny was like, no. And he scooped her up and held her while they took pictures. And I was like, this man has no right to be so genuinely amazing. He was. I'm going to cry talking about it too, because he was awesome.
And when he was sitting there at the table talking to me and Courtney, and it was just me and Johnny Depp and Courtney at the table. There's nobody else. I mean, there was other people in the room, but and he was like Courtney said, he was genuinely talking to us.
Yeah, like was asking questions
Yeah.
like, what do? You go to high school? What classes do you take? What stuff do you do? I dated a boy all through high school, and I told him that he was jealous I was going out there and was scared that I was going to fall in love with Johnny Depp. So I had a big Rolling Stones poster again, and he wrote on it, he was like, next time I'm bringing you home with me, as like a funny joke. So yeah, he was just, again, he was so humane. He was so human. He was so down to earth. Just like I said, he was amazing. He picked this girl up and held her while they took pictures because she didn't want to be in a wheelchair, and like, he was amazing. So he visited everyone. We all got to meet him, and then, you know, we're all giddy because we got stuff signed and we're sharing stories. And at the end, he stops and he says goodbye to all of us. And the little girl that I was talking about from Australia, she had two little brothers who, I'm not even kidding, were probably like 5 and 6 or 4. No, 5 and 6. They were a little bit older. But they're playing their video games because, you know, gotta keep kids quiet. No, they were 2. Because there was one that was only a year younger than her, and the other one was younger. Anyway, the youngest of them is like playing video games. Because, like I said, at this point, we've probably been there at least 3 or 4 hours. So, you know, little boy's playing the video game. Could not be any more concerned that Johnny Depp is standing in front of him because he doesn't care. So Johnny, being the person he is, was trying to get this little boy's attention because he was saying bye to everyone. And everyone's like, "Bye, Johnny, you were great." And this little boy doesn't care. He's just in his video game.
in the video game.
Yeah. So Johnny Depp, being the person he is trying to get his attention, gets into Captain Jack stance, and he's like, "Oi, little guy, I'm leaving," you know. And this kid is just like, back to his video games, could care less. And Johnny Depp's like, "I love it. It's great."
He was cracking up laughing.
Yeah, he was laughing, and Tim Burton's kind of like, "I don't know what to tell you, guy." So they leave, they open these giant doors, and there is Helena Bonham Carter, who I absolutely idolized too, was standing out there. We didn't get to meet her, but
Tim Burton's ex-wife?
I don't know if they were ever married.
Okay. But
The mother of his children, at least.
Helen Bonham Carter was the one that played the Red Queen in the movie.
She was standing in the doors. We didn't get to meet her, but she did wave at all of us. And I was like,
and Jack.
Yeah, Johnny Depp's son.
And
who
was Lily there?
I didn't see her, but Helena was holding Jack. So I was like,
and she's like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Courtney, that was..."
Yeah.
And they again like rushed us out like celebrities, and we went, you know.
Yeah, we went back to the Hummer, and then they take us back to the hotel. And it's not late, but it's later, and we hadn't eaten all day, so
all of us.
Not all of us.
No,
there was only, it was
the little
girl's family.
Yeah.
Candace and us. We didn't realize where we were, and like we couldn't see any restaurants around, but there was a mall around the corner from our hotel, so we ended up venturing to this.
we asked them. They said, "Hey." I said, "Hey."
Yeah, we got back to the hotel and we were collectively like, we're hungry, and like we were gonna do something with Candace anyway, because like I said, we had bonded with them.
And wasn't that the night they had some kind of awards going on?
No, they had the Almost Alice was the name of the album with the alternative music on it. They had the like launch party type of thing.
Is that after we got done eating? Or before?
What are you talking about?
When we saw the mate from...
Oh, yeah! No, that's when we were waiting, because we were kind of seeing if anybody else was going to come, and everybody was kind of... The other ones were kind of doing their own
We were just kind of in the lobby.
Yeah, because we'd gotten back, and we were collectively like, you know, nobody's tired. Some of us were hungry, so we're like, what do we do now? We just had an amazing day. But some of the other families either like went back to the room or, medications. And like I said, some of the other kids that had more chronic issues were like, we're tired. We got to get medicine. We got to get to bed type of thing. So we all kind of broke off. But Candace and her family and the little girl that I was talking about, I believe her name was Jessica.
Yeah.
Jessica and her family, they were like, hey, we're kind of hungry. We all want to kind of go together? And we're like, we were going to try to walk because nobody wanted to drive. So we were going to kind of venture out and see what was around us. But while we're waiting, there's a big tent out in front, and we kept seeing cars and lights and stuff everywhere. We're like, what's going on out there? Like, is there a party or something? So we kind of wait because something about Jessica's mom had to go get some medicine or something with the boys. They were going to go back to the room real quick and get something and come back. So we were kind of sitting there, and Jessica's dad was there, and Candace and her mom and stuff, and we're just kind of sitting there waiting for them to come back. And what's it? Who walked by us?
Robert Duvall.
Yeah, we were sitting there, and this guy walks by, and he's holding a statue too at that, like an award, and he's in a baseball cap and like a leather coat, but he had like nice like trousers on or whatever. And he walks by us, and he kind of looks, and he's got a younger lady on his arm, and he walked by us, and I was like, why does he look familiar? Like whatever. And I was like, he's got an award. And Jessica's dad was like, oi, that's the mate from Days of Thunder. And I'm like, oh, it's Robert Duvall. So it was like another celebrity meeting. And we had found out that there was some kind of award ceremony that the hotel hosted. And I was like, there were probably other celebrities under our nose, and we had no freaking clue. We were so starstruck from Johnny Depp, we didn't even care. But yeah, it was great. We ended up going to the, like I said, the mall around the corner. I think we ended up getting like Panda Express or something. It was perfect.
We all agreed on it, and it was cheap. Like I said,
I think we just went to the food court because I think I remember Jessica had like pizza or something. But we just collectively went to the food court and got what we wanted and ate together. And
sounds good.
Yeah, that does sound good. Chicken wings.
Sounds good. One of a kind.
Sorry, off topic. So yeah, we just kind of ate, and we were all like still starstruck and like, I got to meet Johnny. We talked about this. It was amazing. Did he look like you thought? Did he talk? Just collectively great. And I remember Jessica's dad. We got that big Mad Hatter like collective hat, and he put it on. And if anybody's ever seen the movie, the Mad Hatter Flutter Wax, and her dad started dancing to get her to laugh because she was younger than us. She was like 8 or 9. Yeah, she was about 8.
Yeah,
8 or 9
8.
years old. So she's, this is later at night. Like, I think the mall was getting ready to close too. So this is later on in the evening. And she's tired and kind of getting cranky, and her dad's making her laugh. And the kids were great, but the families were amazing too. So yeah, I just remember that. And then we went to bed. Well, when we walked back to the hotel, of course, Jessica and her little brothers are younger, so they're obviously exhausted. I think me and Candace stayed and talked.
Well, Jessica went to sleep when we were meeting and greeting with Johnny.
Yeah, for a while they had to wake her up to meet Johnny.
And it was the last one. And she had made him a little something. She cut it out and colored. Oh, it was like a little mask or something.
Yeah.
It was so cute. They had to wake her up to meet Johnny Depp.
Yeah. She was cute. Anyway, so they got back to the hotel, and I think they said, bye and thank you, and they went back up to the room. And I think me and Candace and you and her family kind of sat there and talked for a little bit.
Because we planned to go to...
Yeah, because me and Candace were talking, we're like, oh, Disneyland, that's amazing. And, Candace's stepdad is the one who drove. He's the one the only reason I remember the Santa Monica thing is because he didn't get off on Santa Monica Boulevard and drove to Santa Monica and was very confused and had to stop and ask somebody for directions. And I don't know if anybody knows, but Los Angeles is not a nice city, and people are kind of buttholes. And I think he had to ask 2 or 3 people before somebody was nice enough to be like, you're in Santa Monica, honey. You need to go back down the 405 and,
Because that's the lady at the rent. She goes, don't get off on Santa Monica exit. It's Santa Monica Boulevard.
That's why I remembered that, because he was like, oh, yeah, when we got here, we were clear, tootling along because I think the Make-A-Wish people gave us direction. Like I said, MapQuest, good old MapQuest days, they gave us directions. And Candace's mom was like, he's terrible with directions. I think we were going to go together, but like they gave us a little car so we all couldn't fit in one car. So they were going to follow us, or we followed them.
We followed them, and I'm like, why are we following them? Candace's mom
said that he was terrible at directions, but we followed them to Disneyland.
But we only got lost once going to Disneyland because
we were right outside. the gates or whatever, and we turned off too early and we didn't even go into the parks. We had to turn back around, and that was the only time he messed up. He was a sweetheart though. He even knew, like, when we got out of the cars, he was like, "Ha, did you see that I screwed that up?" So yeah, we agreed that we were gonna go to Disneyland the next day and do stuff together because, you know, why would you want to go to Disneyland by yourself when you just made 11 awesome friends? Which Juhi came with us too because we met them. We met
them at the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were from California, this other girl, and I think they lived in Anaheim or close to Anaheim.
I thought she was from LA.
I don't know. She was close because they didn't stay at the hotel. They stayed at their house, but they got other perks. But anyway, we met them there. So there was 3 of us that went. Didn't Jessica go? I feel like we saw them in the Make-A-Wish studio.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Everybody got tickets too.
Yeah, but not everybody.
And they had to be. Did they have to go Sunday?
No.
Okay.
Because there were other people, like the girl from the Netherlands, Selena, she was there for a couple more days and they didn't go Sunday with us. Everybody's trips were kind of different. Like, me and Candace knew that we were leaving Monday. Or no, they were leaving Tuesday.
Yeah, Candace had another week there.
Oh.
That's what, because I was mad because we only had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We had to leave out early Monday morning.
Yeah.
And Candace was there another week, and they went to Venice Beach, and they got to sightsee and everything.
Yeah, I remember that.
And the ones from Australia, I think they were leaving out Monday, too, because they had like a 14-hour flight.
Yeah, I remember that. They said that they're going to get back to Australia like the next day or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, which now that I think about that, super ungrateful mother to be upset that we
weren't
there any longer. But anyway, so we go to Anaheim to Disneyland, and that was amazing in itself. Perks, we got like disability passes, and I didn't have, like, some of these people had walkers and wheelchairs and things like that. I didn't have any of that, but I got a disability pass, and I got front of the line service, shortest lines. We got really nice seating at restaurants and stuff like that. We had access to shows because we saw the Aladdin show, and we got to sit up front.
I remember the Tower of Terror, like we said. Hey,
there was like a 30-minute wait, and we only had to wait
passes,
10 minutes.
And they go, "That's not fair." They got the access pass.
And I remember we went to the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, and me and the girl Juhi that I was talking about, she was in a wheelchair, and so we got, we only had to wait like maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and it was like I remember that ride. It was a 2-hour wait to get on the Pirates of the Caribbean, and we waited 15 minutes. That was like, but I remember we rode it, we went through it, and I was in the boat with we shared a boat, and Ma and her mother and father, or mother and sister, because I don't think her dad rode any rides.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a mom and sister.
Yeah, she was an Indian girl, and her dad, I think he spoke English, but not very well.
And he was like really strict with his daughters
and really stern. And it was hilarious because I think he was trying to get him to ride, and he was like, "I don't ride rides, no." And I thought he was upset, and she was like, "Nah, he's always like that." He cracked us up at lunch. I have another story about him, but I remember we rode the whole ride, and I'm sitting in the little boats with Juhi, and we got up there, and Juhi was like, "You want to ride again?" And I'm like, "Yes, I want to ride again, Pirates of the Caribbean." So we were going to get out and wait in line again, and the guy was like, "Oh, she's got a wheelchair." "No, just sit. You guys can go around again." And I'm like, oh, yes. So we rode Pirates of the Caribbean twice because Johnny Depp animation. Of course, we want to see Johnny Depp.
No, Johnny Depp wasn't in the characters like.
Yeah,
I don't know if you.
Well, he dresses up and hides on the ride, and like it was just his animation.
They scream, and everybody goes, "That's Johnny Depp."
Yeah,
it wasn't.
He didn't do that, but we got Johnny Depp animation.
I'll be right back.
She'll be right back. I'll keep talking because I'm good at that apparently. Yeah, Disneyland was just amazing in general. They had a Make-A-Wish lounge for anybody who needs like treatments, or you just need to like cool down or whatever, because it's California, it's hot. So we got to check out the Make-A-Wish lounge. It was super swanky, free food, water, snacks, cool. They played movies, it was really nice. I think me and Candace hung out there because she got overheated, and I really wasn't overheated because I don't remember. I think it rained that morning, so it wasn't hot. But, we just kind of hung out. I'm trying to think. We hit up everything because we had, they have like the California Adventures and the Hollywood Studios and then the Disneyland. So I think we hit up all the parks. I remember I was 16 years old at the time, and I remember, if some of you don't know, I'm a big girl. I've always been a big girl. I'm 6 foot tall. I've been 6 foot tall since 7th grade. So my 6 foot tall butt was excited to get on the teacups and like the elephant. Like I was that kind of dork. I remember the Alice in Wonderland ride where you get on the caterpillars, which is like for little kids. But I was like, yeah, let's get on the Alice in Wonderland ride. And I was dragging Ma to everything. Oh, Jolene. Okay, have fun, honey. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Story time. Oh gosh, now I forgot where it was. Oh, stupid rides. Anyway, like I was saying, we got lunch with Candace and her stepdad and her mom, and Juhi had 2 older-ish sisters, and her mom and her dad. And like we said, her dad was strict, and so we got it was Tomorrowland. Now it's Star Wars. But we were at Tomorrowland. We went to like this outer space cafe or something, but we could get pasta and pizza, and it's like a food court. But we went, and I remember sitting there with Juhi, and like she's eating and stuff like that, and her dad, they wanted like mega passes or something for the Buzz Lightyear Toy Story ride or whatever, and her dad bought it, and I remember Juhi and her sister talking like, oh, it's gonna be so much fun, we're gonna do this, and Juhi had a brain tumor, so she had to have some kind of treatment type of thing they had to do, and then she could do something else, and she was like, oh, Dad, this is gonna cut into that time, and I don't want to miss it or whatever, and her dad was like, no, you know, ride, you do treatment, we ride later. And she was like, Dad, like the passes, you have to use the pass. He's like, no, you do, like, and I was like, she was like, oh, you know, typical teenager. And her dad had a thick Indian accent, and her mom was just like, the whole time. But her dad was like, no, you do this, and then we ride, and she's like,
By Jolene.
Yeah, she was like, oh, whatever, Dad, like typical teenager. And it just made me laugh because it was like the culture clash. It was just hilarious. And her sisters, too, like they're typical LA teenagers are like, oh, whatever, Dad. Like, it was funny. I just remember that because, like, she wanted to hang out because me and Candace hung out basically all day. I think they left early because they didn't do, like, Disneyland. Like I said, we rode the teacups and the elephants and the Alice in Wonderland. The Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Yeah, like, they were tired, and I'm a dork and wanted to ride all the rides. So we did all that stuff. So they left early. I know Juhi left early, and I think we only left by ourselves for a couple hours.
I thought we followed them back to LA.
No, they left early because I remember that's when we did the Alice in Wonderland ride by ourselves and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and there was some other stuff. Oh, we were going to do It's a Small World, but the line was forever, and that's when we found that curio stand, and I got my Johnny Depp blanket. So yeah, Disneyland was just a great day. And of course we went back and exhausted, and then we had to get up early the next morning for our flight back. And our flight back was an ordeal in all itself. We got laid over for what?
Well, first, we left the hotel room like an hour early.
She was scared to drive on the 405 back down to LAX, so we left.
Because my uncle said that he'd driven out in a semi, but he said the traffic is terrible. And a Monday morning, he goes on the 405, you don't want to do it. So he goes, leave early. So I'm like, okay, we're going to leave an hour early.
No, I think we left like 2 hours early. And there was nobody on the 405. When I tell you there's nobody, I've never seen the 405 so desolate.
Maybe two.
There was hardly anybody in LAX, which is like, it's LAX. And there was like nobody there.
So we were there early, but when it came like closer to our flight, it was already delayed. Before we left LAX, it was already delayed.
It had snowed and iced and everything else back here.
So that delayed our flight.
Yeah. So we sat in LAX for a long time, and I remember we got breakfast, and I had
at Burger King.
Yeah, because it was right. We didn't want to leave our terminal, so we were at our terminal, and it was right across the way. And I remember there was a lovely
German lady. Is it German?
Yes. Oh, thank you, Brian. That's nice of you. Yeah, there was a nice German lady, and I had on my Mad Hatter hat, and I believe I was reading my Alice in Wonderland book, or maybe something else. I was a reader anyway, so I'm sure I probably packed books. So I was reading something and waiting, and this lady kept, she was saying something to her husband. She kept looking at us, and I was like, hello, and she was like, are you a movie star? And I was like, no, I'm not a movie star. And she was like, they had, and I was like, yeah. So I started talking to her. I was like, I just met Johnny Depp. She's like, can I take your picture? So, and then we kind of talked a little bit. So she passed the time. She was absolutely adorable too. She was so sweet. She was like, we like Johnny Depp in Germany. And then she was talking to her husband. He's like, oh, yeah, yeah. You know, because he didn't speak English and she spoke broken English, but we talked for a while. And we did. We had so much fun. Once in a lifetime opportunity.
Like I
I'm
said,
29 now. I was 16 at the time, and I can still vividly remember just about every detail.
the only one regret I had was not taking my younger daughters because they were
And that
6
was-
and 8 at the time.
That was
so-
my only regret too, because I would have loved to share Disneyland with them.
Because-
Maybe not the Johnny Depp experience, because
Yeah.
they wouldn't have really appreciated it. But Disney
Maybe
World,
today they would, but yeah,
Disneyland, I really regret because I
Yeah,
would have loved to
because-
share that with them.
I'll never have the money to go out there. Well, maybe, but yeah, it was. And another thing, like I said, Make a Wish and Corey said they were awesome. They
Accommodated everything.
yeah, and Friday night, I wish we had a hey Lulu, how you doing?
Hi,
Um,
Lulu. I'm sorry, y'all. If you didn't catch the beginning of this, I worked today and I looked like hot trash.
I wish they would have had a meet and greet with the other Make a Wish families, but everybody was coming
like
in
I
at
said,
different times.
We
and-
tried to talk, and there were people that like didn't meet us at the hotel, but met us at Disney Studios or whatever, or
Yeah.
met us at the Renaissance. I think there was one girl that didn't get to do Disney Studios, but met us at the Renaissance because her flight didn't come in on time and they got delayed or something. She was the one from Minnesota. Her
Yeah.
flight got delayed and she didn't get there till the morning of.
Yeah,
So she didn't get to do the morning stuff with us or
There-
Disney Studios.
there was a girl from Australia, a girl from Netherlands. The boy was from New Jersey.
We were from Illinois.
Illinois.
Candace was from South Carolina.
Juhi was from California.
I want to say Hannah was from like Florida or maybe
Yeah.
Louisiana, which sounds stupid
Yeah.
because they're separate, but I know she's from the South. I can't remember that girl's name now.
Thanks, Lulu.
There was a girl from Montana there. Well, I mean, we were everywhere. There was people from everywhere.
So I want to show you this real quick. I think we're going to wrap it up here pretty soon.
Probably because that's the end of my story, other than the awful layover in LAX that.
Oh, let's tell them about Chicago.
Oh, okay. So we were delayed in LAX anyway. So by the time we got on the plane, another 6-hour flight, come back. We get to Chicago. It snowed. We had to.
Foggy and freezing temperatures.
Yeah,
too.
and there was freezing rain because I remember they were spraying the de-icer stuff on the planes as we were sitting in O'Hara because we were stuck in O'Hara for 6 hours too. We had a 6-hour flight and then we were delayed in O'Hara for 6 hours. And this is the only part that I don't want to talk badly about Make-A-Wish because they were awesome, but this is the only part that sucked. Make-A-Wish was no help to us. We called them like, our tickets were delayed. What do we do? And
It was
Make-A-Wish the Make-A-Wish lady was like, oh, well, figure it out. Call, I think it was like America Airlines or something. She's like, call them. They'll do your tickets.
I think maybe Delta.
Delta, American Air, whatever,
Whatever,
some
yeah.
airline. She was like, call them. They'll figure it out. And I was like, we're tired. We just want to go home. We had an amazing weekend. But like by then we're, and
Hi, Triple C. Hi,
Dana! Auntie Dana! You missed my story time. It's okay. I'm still talking because I could talk forever. Oh, yeah. This is the only bad part about Make-A-Wish. They were amazing the entire time. They were even amazing afterwards. I was a liaison. I spoke for them. I still do. This was just a crappy part of the trip, and it's not solely their fault. They gave us the resources to fix it, but we were tired. Mom was cranky. I was cranky. So I want to say there were no help, but they were help. They gave us what we needed, but Ma wasn't equipped to handle it after that weekend we had. But anyway, I digress. It sounds bad, but it wasn't bad. She gave us what we needed. We just wanted her to do more work than what she did. But anyway, so she gave us the number to call, told us what to do. Ma had a breakdown. She was on the phone, and the lady was like, okay, hold on a minute. And Mom's crying, and the lady can't understand her. Like, she had her on speaker because we were, this is late.
tired, crying.
We didn't get back to Lincoln from
After
Chicago
midnight.
until it was well after midnight.
Yeah.
So
It
it was
closer to
late.
1 a.m.
It was late in O'Hara. We were in some like little Chinese hole in the wall. Again, Chinese seems to be a theme for this trip. We found some little Chinese place with like $3 styrofoam that piled on the fried rice, and we
It was
feasted.
crappy because it was late.
Yeah, but we feasted because it was really good fried rice. But they like $3 for a flat, and they piled on, and me and Mom both got flats, and we're like, we could have shared one. My Lord, what are we gonna do with this? I can't take this on the plane because we thought when we went up there, we have smaller airports around here, and we got on. Was it Springfield that we got on a puddle jumper? No, that was coming back. I think it was Springfield. We got on a puddle jumper. Was it Bloomington?
No, the closest
It was Peoria.
Champaign.
Oh yeah, because yeah. We've got a
So-
little airport that has like an aerial museum attached to it.
And the town we live in is like a hub. Like there's
Everything's like 30, 40 minutes away.
Yeah.
Like Springfield for us is 30 minutes away. Peoria's
Decatur.
40 minutes. Decatur's 30, 40 minutes. Bloomington's 30 minutes. Champagne's about 40 minutes. So
I'm naming off all these airports. Springfield, nope, don't have any flights.
anyway, what I was trying to say
Bloomington,
is going up there, we got on a small like puddle jumper, like
In-
12 dozen seats to go to O'Hara, and then from O'Hara we went to Los Angeles. So coming back, that was the plan. We were going to O'Hara, get on a puddle jumper, come to a smaller airport back home. That didn't happen because it had blizzard here, snow, ice, sleet. That's why
freezing rain and fog.
That's why we were
So-
delayed in O'Hara. So
Planes can't fly in freezing rain and
and
fog.
Mom's having a breakdown with the airline. She's like, "Can we just get a car? We're tired," and she's crying, and the lady can't understand her. And I'm like, "Give me the phone." So I'm talking to this lady, and I was like, "Okay, if we can't get a flight, we don't want to be in this hotel. Is there any way can we get a car? Can we?" She's like, "Absolutely. Did you have a car service?" And we're like, "Yeah, we have the number from the
Limo.
driver. Yeah, because the limo picked us up." And she was like, "Great. I'll cancel your airline tickets. We'll get that refund." And we're like, "Not our money." That sounds bad, but we're like, "Not our money. Don't care about the refunds." She was like, "Call that. They should get all that worked out for you because if they were going to pick you up, they can, work out another destination." So I called the limo company, and it was a Chicago number. So I was like, "Oh, great, they're local. Awesome, they're going to pick us up." They weren't local, but they had a driver local, which was great. Did we go from Chicago? Did we drive or did we?
No,
We finally got a plane. I forgot this.
Chicago to Champaign. Champaign is like an hour from us,
Yeah.
and I'm like Champagne.
Yeah,
yes.
because we were like, they're
Book
like,
it,
well,
book
St. Louis, and we're like, no,
No.
gosh, that's another 4 hours. No. And then
2.5.
she's like, oh, Indianapolis, and we're like, that's like 6 hours. No. Like she was naming off all these bigger airports. I'm like, no, we need something smaller. And she was like, Peoria or Champaign. And we're like, yes,
close enough.
whatever. So she got us the switch tickets. We could fly into Champaign, and then I called the car company, and he was like, "Oh, well, I don't know if we have somebody. We're stationed in Chicago, but we have drivers everywhere." And we're like, "Oh, please, And then we were also, Mom was thinking at the time when I'm on the phone with her, she's like, "Family, could we call Grandma? Could your dad come pick us up?" And we're trying to figure it out. But then the guy comes back. He's like, "I got somebody who's in Champaign. He said he'll take it tonight. You let us know when your flight comes in." And I was like, "We leave in like an hour. We'll be there." And he was like, "All right, we'll have somebody there to meet you." And I was like, "Oh." And Mom's still having her breakdown and crying because she's had enough. And I'm like, "I fixed it. I got it." So we flew from O'Hara to Champaign and then got off. And like I said, it's late at night. We didn't get back to Lincoln until well after midnight. So he's an hour away, so it's got to be 11 or midnight there. And this adorable little limo driver who was an older man from Lincoln, which is cute, had a little sign with my name on it in this little itty bitty airport. It was just so nice. And he talked to us all the way home, and I ended up passing out, but Ma talked to him.
No, I went to sleep too.
Well, he talked to us for a while because I remember I fell asleep and Ma remembers talking to him because he was talking about, we used to come to Lincoln for the fair back in the day. And, he was.
Well, it's not like we live out in the boondocks, one of a kind. I mean,
Yeah.
we do have amenities, and if we need to, Chicago's only 2.5 hours from here, and St. Louis is about the same. Yeah, St. Louis is about 3, which I'm going to St. Louis tomorrow. One more thing, and then we're going to get out of here.
Yes. She's all excited to show this because she worked so hard on this. I do appreciate this.
So Courtney got to be in our local newspaper on the front page, and these are pictures when we met Johnny Depp,
Yeah, some of the ones I still have.
and that was our whole group that Disney Studios. Sorry, there's a glare, and that was Tim Burton with his lovely hair. So yeah, she got on the front page, and it says, "A wish granted."
Look at that awesome hat. That's the one that came in my press packet. I love that hat. There's our limo that picked us up. This was right outside of our house the day we left.
Oh, I can't get it.
There it is. You can kind of see it.
So yeah, this is a big poster board of it, and that's the whole article. Oh yeah,
That's me.
he put his arm around. You can see his hand on
Oh,
my
and
shoulder.
this is what I have to tell you too.
Wait, point to his hand on my shoulder.
That's his hand on my shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm standing right next to. I was touching him. I touched him.
Oh yeah, and one of our well, it was an ex-boyfriend's cousin because I was living with him at the time. She goes, "Did he smell good?" And I'm like, "Of course he smelled good."
And a couple years later, I got into Scentsy really bad in high school because we sold it for like a fundraiser, and we found a Scentsy scent that smelled as close as possible to him. And I remember I stocked up on it because like I sold the most Scentsy, so I got a Scentsy warmer, a bunch of free blocks, and I think I got 3 blocks of the same scent because it smelled like him, and I used to put it in my warmer all the time just to remember that. But yeah, it was great. It was just absolutely amazing. Anyway, that picture is so stretched and gross like that because, again, for some of you younger people, back in the good old days when you just had little disposable cameras and you had to go to Walgreens or Walmart and get the film, whatever idiot that worked at the film center touched our picture and ruined it, like the good. So Mom had a scanner, and we tried to scan it, and it distorted it because there was a thumbprint on Johnny Depp's forehead. We were so pissed. That was the only picture I had of him because there was limited photo opportunities, and there was a thumbprint on Johnny Depp's head. I was livid. So yeah, but anyway, all amazing experience. And like I said earlier, when I, Make-A-Wish was amazing. They took care of us during the trip. After the trip, I was a liaison. I spoke at one of their events about being a Wish kid. They were great. I still get emails from them about input, like, how was your Wish experience? It's been this many years. So they're amazing. They still reach out. Like I said, lifelong friendships. I still talk to some of the girls. That was amazing. I'm sorry I took over your life. My Johnny Depp story took over her life.
All right, we're going to get out of here. I thank everybody for coming to my live. And remember the history video I put out today. Go and comment on that because whoever's comments on that will go in for my giveaway on September 10th. I will go. I think I'm going to go live every Saturday now till the 10th. I don't know. I need more watch hours. These little short history videos isn't giving me too many watch hours. So I want to say good night to everybody. Have a blessed night. Have a blessed Sunday. I'll try to I'm going to put my video on. I got to get up bright and early because I'm going down by St. Louis to see my nephew tomorrow for his birthday. And please keep him in your prayers. He's the one with a brain tumor, and it's cancerous, but he got some good news the other day, and they have
a really good treatment plan in set.
It's operable. The surgeon said they could get 50 to 80% of it through surgery, and then that in turn will not be so much treatment for him. So please keep him in your prayers. Alan is his name. And I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you for the thumbs up. And
thank you for listening to me ramble for nearly 2 hours.
Yeah, and always remember to smile because I love you, but more importantly, God loves you. Bye.
Bye, guys.